Hey guys, Tom here, Permaculture Wilmington. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the little boxes in the front, one of the areas of grass, is very, very green right now with lots of life. Very biodiverse, has multiple species of plants growing. And the other side is just grass the way it was last year. It hasn't changed a whole lot. So what's the difference between these two? I did a video last season over the summer at some point. It's in the account somewhere. And I put manure on one side, and on the other side I just left the way it was. And I have put compost tea on it a couple times, and some of the nutrients and biology from the wine cap swale that I did, like the enzymes and things that have broken down from the wood, they have all been leached down when it rains just a little bit into the soil. So it is growing a little bit better than it was, but the other side right here is so lush and green compared to this side. So this is the side, some nutrients did come in from the top area here and come down into the grass, and you know, it is growing a lot better than it was right now, so that's a solid, that's good. But the other side is just biodiverse, you know, and it's the nutrients that unlocked these seeds that were in the soil. So a lot of people think that when you put manure down, you know, it's the seeds in the manure that are growing. But in a lot of situations, it's just a matter of getting organics into the soil and starting the next succession of seed conditions. So like if you plant multiple seeds right now, you can plant some things that'll germinate right away, and next season you'll see that a completely different biodiversity starts to germinate from the same seeding, from seeding that one time the previous season. So it's really interesting the way the soil works in terms of how it knows what seeds to germinate and what not, but it's because of the parameters that are in the soil. So the compaction that's there, the amount of organics, the type of organics, the amount of biology, the type of biology, what species, you know, all these things matter when we're germinating seeds and growing plants. So this is just basically a matter of different spectrum of nutrients than what this has. So this has more of them, and it has from the manure. The manure was bedding, it was pine bedding, and it was also well-aged horse manure. So actually this wasn't well-aged, this was just very fresh horse manure. So what you guys see here is an example of how we can get more biodiversity. Now here's the trick. The science now shows that more plants being grown in an area grows more abundant plants. So they're finding out in fields now that when you have multiple species, like in a polyculture growing in the same area, the plants after, you know, one season after another, the plants are getting bigger and bigger with diversity. So the more diversity, the more biodiversity in the soil, the more soil organisms and the more plants that we have growing in an area, like for instance in the prairie with the grasses, there's many kinds of grasses growing in any one area throughout the prairies. Now, in the grasslands, like these are the situations we need to create for resilience. Because if we want abundant plants, we want them to grow big and get lush and have that nice, dark, rich chlorophyll look to them instead of that really light chlorosis look. Like for instance, this is beautiful, beautiful chlorophyll color, and like this would be an example of nutrients that the plant's not getting, so it's dropping the leaves. So like this is an excellent example of chlorosis, where it's not really green like it could be. This is a healthy leaf, and you see the difference in the types of green here. So this is an indication that this plant is not getting what it needs. But again, this is the soil that came out of underneath the topsoil from the swale that's back here. So this isn't even topsoil. This is actually subsoil that came from when I was digging out this, basically a ditch, but it's a swale. Because it's on contour and it's meant to capture the water up here, and then I filled it with wood chips, so you can't really see. There's like a little bit of a dip, but I layered my wine cap mycelium in it, so we've got this swale that collects water, and it's really good. It's helping out the soil a lot. This soil is so cushiony now. Like before it was just very compacted, and now we've got worms in here, and we've got moles going after the worms, so we've got a trophic system going on, and I mean it's just aerating itself, and it feels wonderful. It's growing wonderfully. I don't have to do anything else to it. I'm not watering it, I'm not fertilizing it, and it is growing better than it is growing since I moved here in 2007, and it's 2021. So you know, all that time and I haven't done anything to it, and all of a sudden just one season it's life. It just comes right back to life just like that. So I just hope you guys find this interesting. I know I do. And I know now that this is healthy soil, and this is healthier soil than this soil, even though it has plants that I don't really want to be growing with my grass, of course. But because these plants are here, I know that this soil is a whole lot healthier than that soil is right now, okay? So once we get a little more fertility and the grass grows together a little better, we keep cutting it, the grass is going to keep growing together, and it's going to weed out a lot of the other things that we see here. These fast seeding pioneer plants, I'm not real sure what this one is, but a lot of this is like wood sorrel, and there's some chamber bitter mixed in here, and cudweed, and some clover. So some of the clover that I put out here has migrated over just a little bit, which is wonderful. But yeah, guys, so that's what's going on here, and this is biodiversity, and it's biodiversity causing a greater level of health in the soil and a greater level of health in my environment, which means I can physically be healthier living in this environment, more so than I could before. And it's simply a matter of being exposed to different microbes, a more healthy biodiversity of microbes. So I hope you guys are doing well. This is Tom with Permaculture Wilmington.